Nice. Hello and welcome back to Dukes on Twitch. Back today with a Legacy Maverick deck, which I'm pretty stoked about. Maverick definitely didn't get the sort of the right side of companionship, and there isn't really a good fit when it comes to companions like Lurrus has been for other decks, or the Fox has been for some of the Grim Monolith decks. But I think what Mark here has done, shout out to Mark Strassman, a huge player in the Punishing Maverick archetype. He was on the Legacy Pit the other day, which you should definitely check out as well if you want to check out some really good Legacy content. With a Jegantha, with the Jegantha Maverick 5 full color deck. It's kind of 5 colors because of the surgical, but it's really just a 4 color deck. That is a Punishing Fire based deck, or at least a Punishing Maverick based deck with a few blue cards in it, like Oko, Meddling Mage on the board. But that's really it. So at heart, it's a 3 color deck with a splash for blue and a light splash for black. So it's looking like it's going to be a pretty fun deck to play. I did make some slight changes just on some of the cards that I like to play when I'm playing red. I did go up to a Klothys. I always get the name wrong. But I think God of Destiny is really good right now. It kind of takes a place in this deck as the second Collector Scavenging Ooze, as it allows you to attack your opponent's graveyard that, of course, you know, a Lurrus might be taking advantage of, a Dreadhorde Arcanist might be taking advantage of, a Lance player might be playing Loam or Punishing Fire themselves. So Klothys seems really good in this current metagame, especially with a lot of, you know, Fatal Pushes and Lightning Bolts going around. There isn't too many great answers to the God of Destiny once it's actually on the field. So that's going to be really strong, I think, in some of these mid-range matchups, or at least the Delver matchups. Also, the gain 2, deal 2 can definitely add up over turns. So that should be pretty fun to play with. The other card that I wanted to try was Hexdrinker. Hexdrinker, of course, sadly doesn't have the greatest effect with Jegantha. So Jegantha can tap for each of the 5 colors, but that mana can't be paid for generic costs. So we can't use it to ramp into a massive Green Sun Zenith. We can't use it to tick up Hexdrinker, but I think right now there's a lot of decks that can't deal with the combination of Mum and Hexdrinker, or at least Mum to keep Hexdrinker alive until it's up to, you know, 3 counters, which is pretty sweet. So Hexdrinker should be pretty fun. One card that I was thinking about in this list was Blast Zone, but I wasn't too sure where it would actually go. We're currently playing 23 lands, which I think is really nice, but there probably is... Maybe that's for another league. But Blast Zone would have been pretty sweet in this list somewhere. We're only playing 3 Wastelands because of Ramunap, also because of Night, and just because we do have quite a restrictive mana base when it comes to the color combinations that we're using. So we do have a fair amount of jewels and fetches just to make sure that we can get there. I'm actually, because I cut a Punishing Fire, I went down to 2 Punishing Fires. I'm going to cut a Grove here and play a Blast Zone because I believe I have one. I think Blast Zone's really strong. Even though Maverick is usually a deck that tends to go wide on the board, and so you might think Blast Zone is bad against us, there's definitely turns where, you know, Blast Zone might deal with 1 or 2 Delvers, which is really nice, and something that I'm more than happy to play around with. Let's just see how this goes. This should be a really fun league. I'm really keen to try it out. I did a few matches yesterday, and it seemed to work really nicely. If anything, I kind of wanted to add it in an extra Birds of Paradise because of the color, but it didn't. I am counting Surgicals as black sources, which may or may not be correct. We were running Ferromacabre in the sideboard, which I think is a little bit better right now, but Ferromacabre you can't have in the main deck if you want to play Jegantha from the sideboard, which is kind of rough because it does have the double black mana constraints. But yeah, good pickup. So the only black card is actually Surgical, which, you know, can just be played with 2 life. I can produce black. That's true. I have Birds of Paradise, which is nice. I can actually produce double black with Scryb Ranger, which is quite cool. All right, we have our first match against Ajax. We will show our companion. This end is pretty sweet. Pretty happy to keep this. We have the Windswept Heath, straight away for probably just a Taiga. Jegantha does already produce black, of course. The one thing this deck does have a bit of a hard time against is combo game 1. Just because of the lack of Thalia, we only have Gaddock Teeg as the real combo hate piece in game 1. So if this turn 1 Hierarch comes down and we see we're up against combo, we at least have Green Sun Zenith for Gaddock Teeg the following turn, which is quite nice. Astrolabe. Okay, I see how it is. We're not playing Thalias because we had an increased number of non-creature spells in the deck. So I'm just going to take what Mark played with and just make a small number of tweaks to it. But traditionally, Thalia used to see play in the sideboard of Punishing Maverick. Some people used to play it in the main deck because of the amount of non-creature spells in the deck and how it kind of doesn't really work that well with Punishing Fire. The question here is, do I want to play around back to basics? I think I'd rather just have all my colors online, especially if we draw into the God next turn. Astrolabe is fine. Swords is fine. The Dryad Arbor a little bit of an issue because it's of course a card you want in the deck with Green Suns or fetch lands, but I think this turn, if we don't draw anything great, I might just go Dryad Arbor, Noble Hierarch here. Just to really start building up my mana. It also means next time we can play the Ramunap and get back the Windswept Heath, which is kind of nice. This drop. Definitely feels like Oko. Interesting, going after my mana. So what do I want to do here? I can swing for 4 at Oko, so there's no point going to like Green Suns for another Exalted creature. Yeah, I can't Green Suns for 3 right now. I think we'll definitely swing at them. It's matter if I want this green mana or not. If I'm going for 2... Probably pretty happy just getting it down to 1. Just gonna keep building up my mana. I kind of want to get to a stage where I can just Green Suns for God of Destiny because it is quite good on this board. My opponent going after my mana early on might mean this Wasteland's going to go for a green source and just going to try to keep hitting my green sources of mana. Hmm. Green Sun Zenith for Pyroblast. Hey Mark, welcome. Very cool to see you on the Legacy pit. Wasteland, interesting. I probably want to show Wasteland after combat. So I guess what I'm most scared of is Snapcaster into Swords to Plowshares, which we can't really play around right now. Hey, Gripper. Subway drive-through, nice. I had Subway the other day, it's actually quite good. So we can definitely attack into Oko. Snapcaster Mage is the big one. So Snapcaster can... I guess if they want to keep the Oko alive, they can block a 3-3, Sword to 3-3, and the Dryad Arbor takes Oko to 1. Yeah, my opponent hasn't played anything, So I could attack with all 3, or I can keep back the Dryad Arbor for now. The problem is that I kind of want a Green Suns for Gaddock Teeg post-combat, but if they do some sort of shenanigans with swordsing the Dryad Arbor during combat, then I don't have that third source of mana during my main phase 1. But if I do it main phase 1 and get Teeg, then Swords is probably hitting Teeg if they're wanting to clear the board with something like Terminus or Supreme Verdict. At least here, if they want to Swords the Dryad Arbor with a Snapcaster Mage, they have to go for... Ooh, Ice Fang Quaddle, interesting. What if they have Ice Fang and Swords? That'd be pretty rough. Probably okay getting Forest here, because the Ramunap can get back for red mana. Can get back a Jewel or a fetch land. So I'm just going to go for Teeg here. Jace has definitely seen a down tick, so I don't expect Jace, but at least this does give me some cover outside of Swords to Plowshares and End Step against any sort of sweepers. Yeah, that's fair enough. If he did have the sword, if they had the swords, I would, yeah, assume they would try to keep the Oko around. This might be like Abrupt Decay. All right. Episode 25, welcome. Ooh, Oko ourselves. Interesting. 3 cards in my opponent's hand. I can also waste them off Tundra and then play the Oko. I don't think my opponent plays Counterspell. Oko does demand a force. I think I'd rather try to get at least as much information out of my opponent before I do anything else. This So my opponent wants to float a white here. We can go to attack phase, and if they try to sword something, we can just float mana. Ramunap seems good next turn as well, because then we can get back Wasteland straight away. Force pitch to Fairy. Okay. I don't believe we have any other legendary creatures to really worry about, which is kind of nice. Here I do still like just jamming Ramunap. Get back Wasteland. Hit drop. They're gonna fetch in response. If they have an Ice Fang, that's more than fine. If they don't, then we get through 3 damage, which is nice. Sylvan Library is going to be really good as well, especially seeing we're still at 18. Our opponent hasn't put too much pressure on us, so... Hey, Jono, welcome. Hope you're well. Currently in game 1, so you're nice and early, which is nice. But I would love to cut my opponent off mana. The Astrolabes does make it tough, but... You know, maybe we can get to a stage where we have something like... Cling to Dust, taking out Wasteland. That's fine. I think we're already pretty wide on board, so I'm just going to go for Sylvan Library and probably not Hex Mage as well. Karakas, interesting. Should have played a land from the graveyard. That was just me not paying attention. So if I attack with Ramunap as well, it does open me up to Icefang Coatl, but it does increase the clock from 3 turns to 4, or from 4 turns to 3, which is quite nice. So I don't mind just attacking with everything. They only have 1 card in hand. You think I need to slam Hex Drinker? Interesting. I guess Hex Drinker also turns on... Classic. I meant to click on the Sylvan Library there. Rough. Well, I guess at least the Hex Drinker turns on lethal if they don't find something here, but now it just opens us up to getting board wiped of some sort. Yeah, if I didn't attack with the Arbor, then I could definitely play both Sylvan Library and Hex Drinker, which would be nice, but sadly that isn't the way. So here I like taking out the Punishing Fires. I like taking out some number of Swords to Plowshares. Maybe Fires aren't the worst because of things like Teferi is most likely ticking down to 1 straight away. Mark, how would you sideboard for Snow? I don't mind the Elementals. Meddling Mage is interesting. Knight of Autumn is interesting. Collector Ouphe is interesting. Gaddock Teeg might be good enough just because of post board. They probably play some number of Cut All Your Plows. Yeah, Mana Dorks as well. I don't really want to rely on those. I might just go down to 1 of each so I have them as Green Sun's targets. Maybe something like this. Veil's also pretty interesting. It stops things like Oko and Veil and Bounce. They're also on Decay, which is pretty good. Maybe Meddling Mage is just not where I want to be. Uro is an issue, but we do have Scavenging Ooze and Klothys. It isn't a companion, which is nice. Mage is interesting because, like, if I name Swords to Plowshares, they have Oko, they have Terminus, Supreme Verdict, Jace Bounce, most likely, Oko, turn it to 3. I do like the Pyros and Red Elemental Blast. I guess that also kind of deals with Uro to an extent, or at least buys me time to exile it from a graveyard. Yeah, maybe take out the mages. Maybe that's overkill, and the second Ouphe. Maybe this is nice. This looks pretty good. Fiery Justice is pretty interesting as well. See how this goes. I still like having the one Ouphe, especially to try to turn off their Astrolabes. I do, however, like my starts with Noble, so I might actually just go down on a Green Suns, because there's not too much that I'm looking for straight away. There's not one card that's vital. So I think having the option of maybe playing a turn 2 3-drop is pretty good. I don't mind this. It's a turn 2 Knight, which is kind of nice. And then if they have an Oko, the Punishing Fire with Knight finishes it off. I don't think this hand is great, but at the same time, I don't think I'm muddling this hand. Yeah, it's fair. They are pretty bad late game draws. At least with Oko, you can turn them into a 3/3, which is kind of nice. But otherwise, it can be pretty rough. Going for a Tundra, interesting. Brainstorm, all right. Interesting. Yeah, I played Green Black Depths for a while, which was really fun. But I haven't played a non-Lurrus, non-Oko deck. There we go. Gendorius, this is 5 color if you choose to acknowledge the surgicals in the sideboard, but otherwise it is just a full color deck. Turn 1 Brainstorm is always really interesting, and I'm never too sure what my opponent's like thought process there is. No, Astrolabe's pretty nice. Because of our fetch land situation, I'm just going to go for a basic here. I could also just go for... I might actually just go for a Savannah. Because if the Noble Hierarch goes and we draw into like Mother of Runes, I probably want to mum and also ramp out, perhaps. Hey, thanks for coming in. Very cool to have you. Another Brainstorm, interesting. Hey, Thokash, thanks for the follow. Let me know where you're from. If you play Legacy, what do you play in Legacy? Underground Sea. Okay. Could just be Abrupt Decay. Yeah. That's not too bad. I don't mind Abrupt Decay on my mana hooks, especially when we have the mana in hand just to cast everything that we draw into. Windswept. Interesting. Just gonna go for another green source off a Taiga and just cast this Qasali Pridemage. I do want to keep this Green Suns for God of Destiny. So we still have a pretty good plan of just turn 3 Knight, turn 4 Green Suns. Mark was the inventor. This list is a little bit different, but it definitely came from Mark 75 that he played on the Legacy Pit, which I believe you can check out on the Legacy Pit's YouTube page. And you can also find Mark's list in the Punishing Maverick Discord, which is very cool. Ponder. Pyroblast is pretty nice. So I'm going to attack first. If they have Ice Fang, that's fine. I probably just want to Punishing Fire it. I probably want to keep the Pyroblast up for either Teferi or Oko. Oh, Ice Fang doesn't have Death Touch. I always forget that. I think I just play out Knight here, to be fair. I don't want to keep up Pyroblast or Punishing Fire, and then they just play a land and maybe like Ponder or Brainstorm and then allow us to untap. Probably just going to be a drop. I don't have a Volk, which I kind of want, but it's a bit greedy. Maybe it's just Plateau. Yeah, I'm gonna get a Plateau. Means we have a double red next turn if we need it. How many times have we rolled it out? Never. I have never rolled it out, unfortunately. This is the land base I wish all full color decks yet have. Yeah, it's pretty interesting to be, you know, probably one of the only full color decks in the format that only runs one basic. Most are running like, you know, between 4 and 6 basics and have the 4 Astrolabes at hand as well, which I'm definitely a little bit jealous of. Surgical on Wooded Foothills. Interesting. I guess that makes Knight a 3/3. Wait, what? Oh, they just wanted to look at our hand? What happened there? What happened there? Was that a misclick? They cast Surgical, targeting Wooded Foothills, which would make this Knight a 3/3, but it looks like they just wanted maybe our hand as knowledge? Surely not. Surely the correct play is just to take out everything. Okay. Well, this is fine, because we have the Punishing Fire and Pyroblast. Interesting. Probably just want another Savannah here. So I can hold up both Punishing Fire and Pyroblast. This also means I can tap like this and hold up both Mum and Pyroblast to see what happens. I wanted to fetch just to make sure that I had the right mana. Now I'm pretty happy to play Mum. Ice Fang is fine. I guess they could have second Ice Fang, but otherwise pretty happy just to commit here to the board. I played the Knight there because I want to have a lethal threat next turn, and with Mum they kind of have to just rely on some sort of Dead of Winter. So they haven't played a land drop for turn. They could have Swords to Plowshares, which I don't really mind. I probably care more about Swords to Plowshares, perhaps. What have they played so far? 1 Decay. Knight's going to be fine. It's just a case of what do I think my opponent has. They have 3 cards in hand. Knight doesn't die, which is really nice. Pro Black plays around to K. Alright, see how this goes. I mean, if they only have 1 Trop up, then that doesn't mean too much. Another Blast is pretty perfect. Wow, okay. Well, I definitely don't think that the Snowko matchups are too favored, especially with things like Iceman Quaddle that come out of nowhere, and Okos that are kind of hard to deal with, but got pretty lucky there. Pyroblast showing how good it is, which is nice. So thank you, Mark, for the deck building. But yeah, Snowko's a grind, and I think a deck that can grind a lot harder than Maverick at times, which is pretty tough because I think that's what traditionally Maverick has really tried to lean on when you come up against those sort of matchups. But decks felt pretty nice. Didn't get to Cloth, didn't get to Jegantha. Got to try to get to both of those by the end of the league, because they do seem like pretty good. Pretty cool. Yeah, Cloth is pretty sweet. We didn't get to it there. Definitely could have tried a little bit harder, but it looked like we were okay without it, which is nice. So that's pretty awesome. Oh, good coffee too. Mark, on the Legacy pit, what did you play against? Oh, Floatru is the undefeated trophy leader. Interesting. I believe they were just playing Eldrazi. We played against them on Friday night in the double up. We played a Yorion bug deck, which you can find on my YouTube channel. We played 2 leagues and played against Flo. Luckily got up, which is nice. We went 4-2 and 4-1-3-2, which is pretty sweet. Aussie Man nice with Loam, Flying Whales, Fish Duggery nice. I know Fish has been on the Bant Zerto deck, which is very cool. Plays Khan, Oko, Teferi, Grim Monolith. Hudding Jorasen. We'll reveal Lurrus. Okay. This hand's a little bit rough, but I do like the second Green Suns because of Dryad Arbor turn 1, so I'm going to keep this. Inquisition's fine. I assume it's Oko. I assume this deck probably has a harder time to deal with Oko than Knight. Could also be Swords to Plowshares as it's our only sort of piece of hard removal right now. 1 Green Suns, okay. If I draw a land, then I'd be pretty happy to Wasteland here. Punishing Fire. I guess the big blowout is Days into Wasteland. I also don't have a great answer yet to the creatures, so I'm pretty happy to try to just keep them back on mana and give us more time to draw into a mana source for either Swords or Punishing Fire. Interesting. I assume the hard force means they probably have an answer for this trop. Or they just don't want us to have white mana. Yeah, I think it's too early to tell if it's not Delver or not. Grove, okay. 3 mana. Painful Truths. Okay, that makes me think it is a Grixis control deck. Kloths. Rough. Kloths would have been sweet if we had the 3rd mana, but... Arcan is pretty good. Obviously showing up Punishing Fire pretty well. Windswept is nice. I probably like just dealing with the Arcanist here. I have 3 cards left. I don't mind Plateau because it allows us to Punishing Fire later on and also hold up Grove, but maybe I just want the Tundra white blue. I don't really need double blue. If anything, I need double red. Red white, yeah. I think as well it's probably worth just playing around Force of Negation by swordsing an upkeep. Because I think even if they get 1 hit with this Dreadhorde, it's pretty tough. The thing that sucks is that we have so many good 3-drops in our hand right now that it might just be worth trying to get one on the field, like Oko. Because if Oko resolves, it's just a huge win. And it definitely makes better use of our mana as well. They can just hard cast an upkeep, that's correct. So maybe it's worth trying to 2-1 them. Yeah. Okay, well that's a pretty big win. Now I just want to make sure that I have 3 mana on my next turn. Knight is currently a 4/4. It was, but they most likely have removal. I'd rather just kill the Dreadhorde on spot. Especially in a Grixis deck, they most likely have some number of Fatal Push or other type cards. Snap Inquisition's pretty good. Ponder, okay. Pretty happy just to get rid of the snap here. I just want to keep their board clean. I could do it after the Ponder, so it gives them less less knowledge about their board state, which is probably correct, but just for time constraints, I'd rather just Punishing Fire the Snapcaster and then F6. Alright. They have 4 cards in hand. So I kind of want to figure out which one I want to use as bait, because if they do have a counter spell, I probably don't want them dealing with the Kloths. It's probably the Oko that has the most amount of upside, but also a card that I don't really care about. I think I might just try to slam Oko. Blue, green one. I mean, a force isn't the worst either. Days, alright. I guess, you know, thinking about it, maybe Knight's the fodder, because we do have more Green Suns and more Knights in the deck than we do have God of Destinies and Okos. Pyro's pretty good. Another Inquisition. Didn't really expect Days, but it does make sense, especially in a young Pyromancer build. Taking the Knight, interesting. Wasteland's pretty good. Nice. Well, it's going to fix some of our mana, which is nice. But they can even just tap out for Lurrus here, and then, or just, of course, have a fetch land as well, but get the bauble back. Be interesting to see what we draw, because maybe I want to tick this Blast Zone up to 2 and then play the Mum, so I can use Klothys mana for Blast Zone. Grove. Grove's pretty nice, actually. So we'll make a... Do we need mana for it? I guess if we want to play around Days... I guess I want to get rid of the Snapcaster. I guess it all really depends, right? Because if I get rid of the Lurrus, then I don't really care about the Snapcaster. I have 2 cards left. Yeah, I'd rather go for mana. Go for red. Play Grove. It could still be playing cards like Unearth or Colligan's Command to get back Lurrus, but at least if they don't, we can hopefully get rid of it with Cloth the following turn. Bolt's fine. Swords is pretty nice. So what I want to do here. Probably just want to get rid of Lurrus if I can. Gain some life. Probably want to keep the swords around for Dreadrot Arcanus because I can't deal with that with Plateau. With Punishing Fire. I wonder if they're Brazen Borrower, which can bounce the Clots. That'd be pretty cool. Luckily this races this really well. Oh, of course, they kind of borrow because of Lurrus. That makes sense. Knight. Knight's pretty good, but we need double white for what we want to be doing. So here, I probably just want to go... I have one card left. Yeah, I think it is just Grove again. Make red mana. One cool thing as well is if they try to get rid of the Punishing Fire here with like a Cling to Dust, we can Swords their Dark Confidant and then trigger the Punishing Fire again because they gain life. I really hope they play a threat here so I can Swords it, untap, play Knight. Okay. And then it's can concede, okay. Nice. Outgrunning the Grixis players, very nice. What do I care about? I think because of what I saw, I don't mind Fiery Justice, especially as a way to contain Young Pyromancer. I do like the Veils because of Inquisition. I do like some number of blast effects, and probably the Bog. I think we can definitely take out Gaddock Teeg, Qasali Pridemage, probably Collector Ouphe as well. I don't think this is where I really want Blast Zone either. I can probably drop down on a Sylvan Library, seeing how explosive they are. Yeah, it's fair enough. Might just go down on like a Mana Dork. They did go after our mana pretty heavily. I think because I'm not also looking for one specific silver bullet, then taking out a Green Suns isn't too bad either. And it might just be a second Noble here. Always tough. I really want the 4 swords because of Dreadhorde Arcanist. 61. Oko's still great. Knight's still great. Cloth is great. Ramunap's really nice, especially if they're trying to go after our mana early on. Scavenging Ooze, the Scryb Ranger are really nice as well. Might just be a fetch land, to be honest. Oh, maybe it's the second Taiga. I think it might be the second Taiga. I'd probably rather a fetch land. Nah. See how this goes. Taking out a fetch because I probably still want the targets in the deck. I don't want to get to a stage where I have fetches but no actual targets to hit. And that's probably a pretty... that might come up in a matchup like this where they do attack our mana pretty hard and we grind out for a while. I forgot we had Jegantha as well. Jegantha, alright. Happy to keep this. Pretty nice hand. Windswept. Alright. Pretty happy just to go Forest, Dryad Arbor. To be fair with our mana base, we probably aren't unhappy if our opponent starts wastelanding us because we do just have the land drops to make. Jegantha is a great Blood Moon answer, that's very correct. Strix is fine. Probably just Windswept Heath pass here. With Scryb Ranger open. Oh, do they see Scryb Ranger? Hopefully not. Oh, they do! It's the one card. It's classic. They don't attack because they saw Scryb Ranger. Interesting. Definitely still playing it, let's be honest. Bob's gonna be fine. Just gonna go for a Savannah here. And cast this Scryb. That's classic. Fetching response is interesting. They didn't know what they were drawing. Fiery Justice, wow. Is Fiery Justice better than just swords? I think I'd rather play around days. Brainstorm's fine. If they want to brainstorm into a force, we still have the Pyroblast, which is nice. Can definitely attack. Bolt's okay. Wasteland's okay. Probably not Pyroblasting this turn, probably just holding up Fiery Justice for next turn. Swords. I can wait on Screws to try and play around another Bolt, but I don't mind just getting out of threat. What do I want? I probably want a Plateau. Wait for Screws. I definitely could. I just feel like I don't have the time. If I don't play Screws here, I don't land a threat, and then I don't start punishing or pressuring my opponent. It would be great to be able to keep it up with 2 mana so I could eat Scryb Ranger and Dryad Arbor in response to a Bolt, but I think it's fine. I think that's sadly just a luxury that I can't afford. Higher, that's fine. Brainstorm. Okay. This Fiery Justice is going to be really nice if they don't find a... If we find a land, we can hold up Pyroblast as well. There it is. Green. I'm just going to eat the Bauble. They have 1 card left. Alright, let's hope it's not Days. 1, 2, 3, 4. Come on, land off the top. Come on, land off the top. Knight. Still pretty happy to go for Fiery Justice here. Huh. I think I just go for Fiery Justice here, to be fair. I think I'd rather play around 1 Days in hand when they have 1 card than play around like incoming Inquisition or Thoughtseeds. Hiya. Nice. Clean answer. I guess they do still have Lurrus. Strix is pretty good. Pyromancer, alright. 1 card still in hand. I think I like just taking the time here and going Mum, Swords, Pyro. Getting Mum online is very nice. Knight's obviously pretty good as well because I believe we bought in Bojuka Bog. And to be fair, if the next turn is going to be Lurrus into... Like, if they have land, they can go Lurrus into 2-drop from the bin, which means that Young Pyromancer isn't triggering anyway. So I think we will just go for pressure. 3 mana. Painful Truths. Okay, that's fine. They only have 1 mana open. I guess they could have 2 mana open. And if they find Fetch and Fatal Push, then it's pretty rough. Ponder. Okay. Probably pretty happy to untap and Swords the Young Pyromancer just to keep it from getting too out of hand. And then holding up Knight for Bojuka Bog, which kind of answers the Lurrus. Alright, no fetch, which is nice. No fetch push is what I mean. Oh, no attack either. Interesting. Alright. Punishing Fire. That's pretty nice, let's be honest. Fetch and response. Okay. They're gonna bolt me? Wow, okay. I'm pretty happy to play Mum here. And then pass with Bog up. They could daze it if they really wanted to. Interesting. I think I care about Lurrus more. Oh, I get Grove? Interesting. Grove would be quite nice. Yeah, I don't mind that. I guess we can't be double days, but that's probably fine. At least the Young Pyromancer wasn't around for them to get value off it. Misty. Okay. So they can still go Lurrus into 2-drop from the bin. Alright. Definitely no blocks. Just gonna go to 8. This is where, for punishing Maverick, I don't mind Blazing Volley as a card for the sideboard, but I do think Fiery Justice is just as good. Just a little bit better on mana, a little bit easier on mana, but a little less flexibility. I'm assuming Young Pyromancer and not Baleful Strix. Baleful Strix, okay. Interesting. Does draw them a card as well, which is nice. Library. Huh. Do we have Cradle? We don't have Cradle. That's fair. Yeah, Surgical I guess doesn't really add the extra. I think we definitely want a Swords here on the Lurrus. And then maybe just play Library to try to find the other Fiery Justice. Getting very close to bolt range, but I think that's okay. I don't think punishing Father's Tricksters is a winning play. Unfortunately. Pretty happy to go for double block and then just give Mum Pro. Because if they're relying on Snapcast or something, we can Bojuka Bog. Spell Bomb is going to be fine. I could have got another Grove, but I think I just want to go and get Dryad Arbor. So I'm probably getting rid of the Grove. Maybe it's the Taiga. Ah, we don't have it? Okay, well I'm definitely getting Blast Zone then. Fiery Justice, that's all I want. Birds. Wasteland. Put on top. Maybe I need the blocker. Maybe I'm actually supposed to just try to stall the board. Strix is pretty good. I don't mind just forcing the removal here. Definitely feels like a fatal push. They're floating black. Fatal push. Need the shuffle because we know about 2 lands on top. So let's just get another Taiga. I guess we need white, so maybe Savannah. I don't want to fetch down to 4 either. Veil. Swords. This definitely is game, but at least I can make my opponent win and then hopefully draw out the 3rd game and take the win. Could definitely blast tick up blast in as well. Do I want to board differently? I don't think I do. I think I'm pretty happy with how this is. Nothing changes too much. I think I might just make sure I don't lose because I don't have my mana available early on. So I'm going to play the 4th Noble. Yeah, I probably could have played that better, but a little bit under the clock here as well. This is fine. I'll keep this. Go for Taiga into Dryad Arbor. Ponder's okay. See what the Ponder does. If it shuffles, I'm definitely wastelanding. They chose not to shuffle. Okay. Justice. Just gonna try to keep building up my mana. I'm gonna force it. All right. I wanted to play around days as well. I guess I play around days anyway, but if they're trying to keep that... Pyro's fine. Yeah, if they're trying to keep that Underground Z from being wastelanded, then I definitely want to hit it. Mum's pretty nice. Hold up Pyroblast. Hey Wave, you can find the deck list on the screen. It should be near my life total. You can see the back of the cards you can hover over. I do want to keep this blast for probably Strix. I think that I don't want to blast the Ponder there because they're already getting value off it through the Elemental token. Oof. Alright. Red, white, green, Justice. And them. That's fine. Bob's pretty good. Veil. Is it worth cashing in my Canopy here, or does that get me stuck? I think I'm okay with this. Because if I draw into a land, I probably want to play it, and Screws isn't too bad. This way we get to hold up both Pyroblast and Veil. I can definitely see considerations to blasting effects like that as well, if we do already have the removal for. That's fine. Wonder if they attack or not. Knight. This is rough, because I assume with the Dreadhorde they'll flash back the Bolt, so I probably don't mind just playing Screws out here, because the Bolt probably goes at the Mum to try to give Pro. Or to force us to give Pro. No great attacks either. Okay, they're going to attack with the Dreadhorde. Pick Lightning Bolt. Okay. I wonder if I'm just supposed to let this slide or not. Maybe it's okay because they need to hit this twice if I go for... Yeah. I think I really just need to delay time as much as possible. This looks like a bolt on Mum. Oh, another bolt on Screws. Okay. That's fine. Interesting. Well, getting down the Knight was really nice, let's be honest. Brainstorm. If I can untap with these two, I think I'm looking pretty good. Whew, sweaty hands. Yeah, Matt, let's win this. I'll be very keen to win this. Ugh. Looks like Lurrus. Painful Truths, okay. That's gonna be fine. Again, Mum just making attacks really bad. So now we get to untap with Pyroblast and Veil. I mean, we're just passing here, let's be honest. Oh, wow, okay, yeah. Yeah, timing them out isn't the greatest. It's not the greatest win to play, but we both have 25 minutes. You've got to play pretty quickly, especially for these grindy matchups. I mean, unfortunately, 22 seconds or 18 seconds just isn't enough time to actually get there. Sadly, that is just time. So we do get there, which is nice, but it would have been pretty interesting. I mean, the Spell Bomb is a nice way to answer the Knight, and kind of forces us to use Mum if they flashback the Bolt on the Knight. So we do have some interaction, but not the greatest interaction to Lightning Bolt. I guess we can also do things like Wasteland ourselves to make the Knight back up to at least a 4/4, which is pretty cool. Unfortunately, yeah. So we do get the win, but not in the fashion that we like it. I'm just going to the bathroom. I'll be back in a sec. Nice. We are back for game 3. But yeah, two really grindy matchups. First up, Snowko and Grixis control, or Grixis Lurrus. Didn't seem to have Delver, which is interesting. Delver usually fits pretty well in those strategies, but obviously that's just a different take on it. Haven't played Jegantha yet. We will get to it. But not as easy as you think. Even just getting to 5 mana, I don't think we've had the chance to get to yet. But I hope you guys are doing well. Obviously, it's a pretty tough time, so I hope you're all doing okay. Families and friends are doing okay. Hopefully, game stores will be back up in action in a few months. Could be weeks, but I'm gonna say it's months. Probably not the same sort of setup as well as you previously had pre-COVID, but yeah, Paper Magic is something that I definitely miss. We have a pretty good local scene that has a webcam, Legacy, and Highlander group where you can play over Discord with webcam, which is pretty sweet. But other than that, I just miss the weeklies. Legacy Weekly is a pretty nice time just to get out, a break from work, break from everything else. See some mates that you don't see. You probably see like once a week, so that's always pretty nice. Dreadhorde Arcanist, a bit of an issue for this deck. Swords to Plowshares is nice, and also Skoos and Cloth, but Punishing Fire obviously doesn't really get there. Yeah, I sometimes just shuffle a deck for shenanigans. I think I actually have a deck here that I can just shuffle, which is quite nice. Oh, I do. I believe this is Yorion Highlander. Adelaide Eternal MTG, that is correct. So an example is that I had Fairy Macabre in my sideboard over Surgical, but if you main deck that, you can't play Jegantha as your companion, which is pretty rough. So even things like Finale of Devastation, I can't play. Questing Beast is probably like the real main deck card that I really like playing with that I can't play, but I think that's okay. This hand is fine. It's got Swords and Wasteland as interaction, and we have mana for our 3-drops, so I'm pretty happy to keep this. Drawing into a mana dork early on would be really nice. Lurrus, ugh. Another 3-drop. I'm gonna make this small, put this down here. There we go. This is definitely kind of an issue with Maverick, that if you don't have your turn on mana dork, it can be a little bit of a grind to get out your higher CMC threats. Especially if my opponent just plays an Oko, where a turn behind. Windswept. Hey Beckett, are you still smashing the drafts? I know you got a fair amount of, I'm gonna say, Vintage Cube trophies, which is pretty sweet. Mum, interesting. Probably just gonna go play Knight here. Maybe Klothys is actually more interesting. So all of them need green. Oh, I don't have white mana? Interesting, my bad. I fetched wrong. I'm just gonna go for Oko. Oko on a clear board seems pretty sweet. This is most likely a deck with counter magic, so. Force isn't too bad. Pretty happy to trade with a Force, but if this deck is on the basic plan, then, you know, back to basics could be pretty bad for this deck. Discord tournaments have been awesome. We had, I think, 27 players for the first one, and then 34 or 36 for the second Highland event, which is just crazy. I mean, that's, you know, some of the biggest events that aren't sort of GP or Eternal Weekend related, which is pretty sweet. They're pretty easy to actually access as well. All you need is literally a mic and a webcam, and you're good to go. Just a pass. Well then. Mum. I'm gonna go Klothys into Mum. Please resolve. I think they're having a good read of this. Predict? Okay. What do they name? Terminus, okay. Oh, it sticks, that's nice. Savannah into Mum. At least Klothys also helps with our mana if they do have something like Back to Basics main deck. Pairings are pretty good. How the events run is pretty nice, just all in one night. It can be a little bit long if they're playing a top 8 event, but most people are pretty happy for that, which is kind of nice. Pretty happy just to exile the swords here. I do want to land a threat. I could play the Mum, but if I'm going to try to get... Ooh, Tundra. Tundra makes me want to play this Wasteland, or not play a land, and then play the Night, and then play the Wasteland. That was probably incorrect. This looks just like a counterspell. Yeah, okay. Have I got a link to the Discord? I can definitely find it. Give me a second. I'm just going to 6 this turn. Oh, just a pass from my opponent. Interesting. Probably going to target the counterspell. See if they do anything in response. I'm going to hit their Tundra and then play second main phase. Because if they float mana, I don't want to play into it. I'm going to brainstorm with it. Okay. Nice. Nice. Okay. Toowoomba. Let me find it. There it is. How do I find an invite for a... I'll find it. Cloth and Sylvan Library working really well together as well here. I already posted it. Thanks, Jack. Thank you very much. I think here I'm just paying 8, let's be honest. I'm not getting a shuffle either. I'm going to take out the... Probably just the swords. It might even, like... I'd love to exile the swords and then make them, you know, swords to plowshares, flash it back. But actually, that doesn't work. That doesn't work the way that I wanted it to. Dryad Arbor's fine. Not the greatest threat, but... We have a bit of time. And our opponent's already on 10 just from fetching and Klothys, which is pretty nice. There's probably a world as well where I'm a little bit scared of Entreat. Played Lurrus 15 times in a row. Oh, and against it? Rough. What do you play in Modern? Beckett. Just go tempo? Okay. No attacks. Alright. That's pretty funny. I think I want an Oko. That'd be really nice. Scryb Ranger's kind of cool. Ooh, nice. Okay. I'm gonna put on top. Pay for this. Exile Predict. Play a land. They could just have Force of Will up, but I can't really play around Force of Will. Especially if they fetch here. Predict. Force Push Brainstorm. At least it's a 2-for-1, which isn't the worst. Pretty happy to still attack. And if they want to trade, that's fine. Probably don't really care about keeping it with Scryb Ranger. Also, Scryb Ranger really nice with Back to Basics because you can just return your jewels and untap them and play them again, which is kind of cool. A little bit like a Daze player after a Back to Basics has come into play. Klothys is sweet, especially like I think this is probably the best deck to play against. They probably have some number of Council's Judgments as a way to get rid of it, but otherwise it's pretty tough. They're probably just trying to get down to Entreat. Oh, this is a Lurrus deck. You are 100% correct. Oh, and next turn we actually can cast Jegantha, which is kind of cool. Lurrus, okay. They can play Astrolabe, I guess, or Snapcaster. I think in response to the Astrolabe, I'd rather just try to counter this, or Swords, which makes me think I should have kept up double white in case they have counter magic here. I do still have the ability to cast this Scryb Ranger, which is kind of nice. Counterbalance. Alright, in response to Counterbalance, we will definitely play Scryb Ranger. Scryb Ranger is actually quite nice because it makes them... It puts them down to 8, which is a 4-turn clock with this Klothys. Alright, we know Scooz is on top. Punishing Fire is actually quite nice as well. I'm just going to go put on top and probably pay for Mum. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana with Scryb Ranger. So maybe I'm happy just putting this on top for now. We're most likely winning through Cloth anyway. Gonna exile the Predict. Yeah, forced to counter Jeg would be pretty nuts. Alright, so let's go Float a Mana, Scryb Ranger, untap, return Forest, play Forest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's actually one too many. Sweet. There we go. What a world. Mishra's Bauble. Whew. Okay, that's okay. Nice. This is an achievement. I probably wanted to Punishing Fire there. Maybe not. Maybe I actually just want to Punishing Fire them and I don't really care about the Snapcaster. Unfortunate. We got it into play. That's what we really wanted, so not too unhappy. Ooh, interesting. Get that snap. That's gonna be okay. What do they target? Probably predict. Swords to Plowshares. Interesting. Yep. I guess if they don't have a 2 or counter magic, we just win next turn. Because 2 from Punishing Fire, 2 from Cloth, and then get back Punishing Fire. Alright, what's on top? There are a lot of 2-drops. Ponder, okay, nice. Untap. They get to draw a card. Oh, so maybe in response to the trigger, I should have actually Punishing Fired them again. Yeah, I should have. I shouldn't have just let go there. Teeg's interesting. Screws is also interesting. Put on top, put on top. Probably want to eat the Reclamation, let's be honest. Oh, I can eat the Reclamation anyway with the Cloths. Oh, they gain a life as well. Yeah, that's rough. Maybe then I'm happy just to play Scoos out. I guess I could have Punishing Fired first to find out what's on top, because if it's a 2, then I probably want to answer it. I probably want to just not cast the Ooze then. Keep Mum because we need to, yeah, the Mum's also quite nice because it is a different CMC. So this is interesting. I definitely don't mind the Meddling Mages, the Pyros, and probably the red, especially with Counterbalance in the deck and we don't have Abrupt Decay. I can see us taking out probably all 4 swords. Ramunap's also interesting. This isn't really a deck where we can just keep getting back Wasteland and it actually mattering. I also like going down on Hierarchs because of Terminus. Surgical's not the worst. I don't mind Surgical on swords. It makes Meddling Mage a lot easier as well. Surgical and Meddling Mage also work pretty well together. Swords on Lurrus seems decent. Yeah, that's very true. Maybe we do need a way to deal with. Bloodstone for 2 also seems okay with the amount of Snapcaster Mages and yeah, I think P5 is okay. The Collector Ouphe is interesting. It really just hits their Astrolabes, which, you know, might be enough if they're going for basics early on because of us being on a Wasteland deck. Hex Drink is interesting. Hex Drinker is probably a little bit too slow. I'd probably rather something like Night of Autumn in the deck. If they do play back to basics, we can get caught out of it, so I don't mind having an answer for that. Might just see how this goes. It's probably worth bringing in Bog, especially after seeing Savine's Reclamation. We do have Surgical, but it just makes Night all that much better. Might just go down on a fetch for Bog. It's always tough playing so many colors and knowing what to bring in, what to take out. I definitely like taking out the swords because they don't have anything that we really want to deal with outside of Lurrus, but we do have Punishing Fire for that. Their board wipes are also pretty good against our mana accelerants, so I don't want to rely on the Nobles and Birds to start developing our mana. I could even see like a Wasteland getting taken out. Maybe the Wasteland, the third Wasteland is worse than the extra fetch land. One lander with green suns. Pretty greedy keep. This is most likely getting a Taiga because then we have access for green suns and pyro. We are on the draw, so we do get one draw step, but we are down a land. Hey Strauss, we're up against what looks to be just blue-white miracles with Lurrus. I think this is a little bit too greedy. We're on the draw. What do you think, Mark? What are your thoughts on this hand? The Collector Ouphe could be pretty bad if they're not relying heavily on the Astrolabes. Maybe Collector Ouphe wasn't even worth keeping in. We have one Mole in chat. I think I'd rather make sure that I don't just lose to not developing my mana. And I think that happens if we keep one lander. This is better. I'll keep this. And I think I'll bottom probably the second mage. I could also see myself bottoming the knight because we have the Zenith. I don't mind double mage. Turn 1 green suns, turn 2 knight. Okay. Mage is always tough as well. Yeah, I think mage without any sort of information about their hand, it's pretty tough to name with the mages. Oko's nice. Alright. Gonna get a Taiga because of the Pyroblast. I could have actually kept that and just played the Trop, but I think this is okay. Probably could have gone Trop into Plateau so I could also cast the Meddling Mage. Yeah, Trop Green Suns is correct there. Yeah, I should have definitely gone Trop. Wonder if they fetch and play counterbalance. They don't. Huh. Well, now we really need to draw a land, or else we just get out tempoed so well. I think we just go with Meddling Mage on Sword Splashes and hold up Pyroblast. I don't mind that. Yeah, I think because the knight is what I want to land. Swords is probably what I care about the most. EE for 2. That's pretty good. Okay. Does mean they're going to tap out for their turn if they're fetching now, surely. Maybe they're just fetching so they can pass with the mana up. So we can't like untap and then destroy the EE in response to them fetching. A land would be perfect here because it allows us to play a 3-drop with Pyroblast up. Now I'm pretty keen just to go for... probably just Oko, to be fair. They probably played the EE on 2 just to have an answer for the Meddling Mage. It doesn't necessarily mean that they have Swords to Plowshares in hand. But if they did bring in Blast, then they have a pretty nice answer to the Oko. But otherwise, it's going to be a pretty rough time to deal with the Oko outside of like Council's Judgment. I think they saw Oko in game 1. Lurrus is fine. They do have Karakas up, but... EE for 0. Interesting, just to hit the food. So one sad thing is that Oko tick up on Lurrus keeps it a legendary creature, so they can still return it to the hand and then recast it. But... I don't mind seeing if they want to like blow this up with the EE first. I might as well do everything I can before I try to answer this Lurrus with Punishing Fire. So now I'm pretty happy to go after Swords to Plowshares. And if they want to counter it, we do have the Pyroblast, which is nice. And if they don't, then we have the another Reliquary to actually play. Oh, they have one in hand, and an Entreat and a Force. What else do they have? Another EE. Elemental Blast. Okay. Soul Guide Lantern. Interesting. Reclamation. So the Entreat is a little bit rough. I probably don't mind here just casting one of the knights into Meddling Mage and Force of Will. Yeah. I think it's not correct to just try to wait a turn for Pyroblast. I'd rather just play the knight. The Meddling Mage probably isn't doing too much now either, so I don't think a Force pitching Meddling Mage is that bad for them. It's not as bad as losing like a Ponder or a Brainstorm. One thing I don't understand is that when you surgical your opponent, the revealed cards from the hand doesn't enter the revealed cards section, which to me is interesting. Because it's a search effect? Okay, interesting. At least Knight also means we can Wasteland the Karakas and then go after Lurrus. Oh, interesting. Okay. The more you know. Thank you very much, chat. That's really nice to know. 1, 2. Oh. Maybe just a pass. Mage. So the Karakas is also just hardcast Force of Will. So I think here I'm happy to probably get rid of the Tundra. The question is, do I want to use the Tundra first? Maybe I want to go like Floater White, sack this. Get rid of Trop. Yeah, maybe getting rid of Trop was correct. We are just getting Wasteland here. Yeah. No white mana I think is okay because we have... Now they're going to go for the return. Interesting. So now we can actually go for... Punishing Fire in response? At least that 2-for-1s them. They kind of have to force this, which I don't mind. Counterspell, okay. Can still make a food. I'm just going to 6 this turn. I want to keep my time up as well. My opponent currently has a minute on me. Just passing. Interesting. Or at least going to second main. Nothing. They haven't put Entreat back yet. I'm going to keep the Knight up. It does mean if they want to hardcast Force of Will, we can Pyroblast it. This also just makes lethal. I guess the Ochre makes lethal anyway. Yeah. Maybe that was overcommitting with the second Knight. If they rip Terminus there, it's pretty rough. Maybe it was correct to try to do something with Meddling Mage and Pyroblast, or at least Wasteland them off their 4th. I think what I should have done is actually attack with the food, and then at the end of combat, use Knight to Wasteland them off 5 mana. Yeah, Pyro Brainstorm is pretty good as well. But yeah, I think the correct decision was probably Pyroblast, or at least Wastelanding during my combat step. Yeah, I think to be fair, I think it's more about just making sure when you have an opening hand and you look at your mana and you do have, you know, Meddling Mages and Green Suns and Knight and Oko, you got to look at your mana and just look at what you want to do and what gives you the most time to set up your mana. And playing a Trop there instead of a fetch land gives you so much more time because it gives you more draw steps to understand what mana you actually need. Yeah, Wasteland Tundra seems fine. I don't think I really care about red. I don't think I care about a blast effect on Oko there because it's just too late in the game where Oko's already got considerable value. So I think trying to take them off is taking them off as much white as possible is probably correct. But yeah, just little things, and it's really annoying because like obviously that trop line did hurt, because if we did go for a trop turn 1 and then fetch turn 2, we could play the Meddling Mage turn 2 instead of turn 3. Yeah, it's fair. I'm sure there's still players that like CJ. It is just not a nice, clean answer. Probably less needed now, but it's pretty hard to say that every single player that I play against is not going to play CJ. So I think it's worth considering it at least. But at least we've got up against 2 Lurrus decks. And the first player was just on a non-Lurrus deck, I believe. What have we played against? We played against, just then was blue-white. I guess red for sideboard cards. Miracles with Lurrus. Here's our match. Yeah, that's fair. Baubles seem pretty nice, especially with Lurrus. All right, can we get a match? There we go. Samus. This hand is probably fine. I'll keep this. Lurrus. Interesting. Sprite Dragon. Alright. That's going to get out of hand. Taiga. Taiga seems fine. Taiga over basic? Yeah, Taiga over basic. Fetch last, yeah. I think I like keeping the fetch as well in case we draw into a Sylvan Library. Especially against a deck like Blue Red Delver, or what this deck is. I'm probably not going to be in the position where I can just pay, you know, 4 or 8 life just to make sure I can see extra cards at the top of my library. So I probably want to keep the fetch land for library in case I see 2 cards or 1 card that I don't want to see the following turn. Ugh. I think it is just Delver with Petals, but I could be wrong. It does look like a pretty fast deck. Probably playing maybe like Swift Spears or most likely Delvers. Swords is pretty nice. I think I just have to deal with the Sprite Dragon here. I don't really have the luxury of anything else. Turn 1 Sprite Dragon is pretty scary. I mean, we do have Scryb Ranger as well, which is kind of nice, but yikes. Yeah, next turn I think we're gonna play the Scavenging Ooze and probably fetch for just a forest, so that we can hold up green at all times and our opponent can't, you know, Wasteland main phase on our green source like a Savannah, and then not allow us to actually have different options for eating in regards to Arcanist trigger, if they do get more instants or sorceries in the graveyard, that is. But it looks like for now we have a standoff with Mum, which is kind of nice. I think we still cast it off Canopy. Brainstorm, okay. Thoughtseize is fine. Thoughtseize kind of just eats our hand, which is pretty rough. But at least we have some pretty good attacks. I think just Blast Zone next turn and tick up is pretty good. I don't even want to risk Mum here. I'm happy just to take the 1. Green Suns. I think I'd rather just Blast Zone and fetch. I guess it doesn't really matter. If they have Wasteland, they have Wasteland, so there's no point fetching now. Yeah, Hexdrink is interesting as well. I kind of like that we can just pass, tick up Blast Zone to 2, untap, play the 3rd land, and then just Blast Zone for 2 as well. So I might just pass here. At least this means 1 bolt is most likely going at Mum, so all we have to fade is Wasteland, and then we're doing okay. I probably also want to keep the Blast Zone for pre-combat, so they can't play a Sprite Dragon. Lurrus. Pretty good. I probably just want to go for a Trop here, because Oko is also a nice draw. 1, 2. So Knight of the Reliquary would only be a 4/4. I think it is Knight. The Lurrus definitely changes how good Blaststone is. My opponent also probably on a Fatal Push, so really need to fade that as well. With the Lotus Petal they already have on Revolt, or the Urza's Bauble. Even Sprite Dragon into Fatal Push would do it. In a Brainstorm, okay. The question is, do I even block? I don't think I do. I think I'd rather just take the 1. I guess block Lurrus isn't the worst, because then we can just Blast Zone. That's true. Bolt does just kill us. Interesting. I think he would just hold up Blast Zone, to be fair. If I'm holding up Blast Zone, does that mean I can attack? Or do I want to use Knight? I probably want to build up Knight, to be fair. Can also draw a card off the Canopy as well. If they have Stifle, they have Stifle. I don't think I'm going to play around Stifle. I'd rather play around another Sprite Dragon. Just trying to do the math on if I should get a fetch land and then a jewel, or just a jewel. And I think I should get a fetch land. Go up to 7. 8 with Canopy. And then I pretty much have a 2-turn clock. But it does mean I have to draw removal for the Arcanist. Can pun the Arcanist to death if they don't have anything else. Maybe that's correct. Maybe that's better than drawing a card. Green Suns. Probably green sunning for another night here, to be honest. Well, I'm not gonna play around second days, but I'll play around one. Probably should have got a second red source as well, but that's okay. So I can make them double block because these knights can become 9/9s, or even bigger. 1, 2, 3, 10/10s. Yeah, I like double attacking as well. Seeing if they can do the math or not. Kind of hope they don't block. Oh, is that no blocks? Sacrifice this, go to 8/8s, and then Wasteland ourselves. Go to 10/10s. Haha! Nice. Very cool. Nice. What do we want to take out? Collector Ouphe is interesting. Probably taking out Gaddock Teeg. I do like the blast effects, especially for Sprite Dragon. That can just get out of hand a little bit too fast. I don't mind Bog. I think Pridemage can come out. Math is for blockers. I still like Blaststone a lot. Probably Ouphe is coming out. I don't think 3 is too many, especially in a deck that I can't find them very quickly. And if Sprite Dragon is one of their best attackers early on, then I want to have a way to deal with it. Probably Sylvan Library. Second Sylvan might even be incorrect. Yeah, I might even just bring in Knight of Autumn in case they have some random artifact or enchantment to bring in. Mage is... Actually, Fiery Justice is pretty interesting. I might go Fiery Justice. Yeah, Justice is pretty good. If it goes to a third, we can definitely bring in the extra Justice. Huh. The Dryad Arbor in hand is pretty rough, but I don't mind it. A little bit heavy on I think just because our opponent has to be the beatdown and we get to be the control deck, that I'm pretty happy if our opponent starts off with a creature, yeah. Yeah, I definitely like going a little bit lower on the curve on the draw. Noble. Can I just go Dryad Arbor pass? I don't want to get Wastelanded yet off this most likely Plateau on the Windswept Heath, so I'm happy just to go Dryad Arbor pass. I've got to play it at some point, so... If I didn't have the swords as just 1-for-1 removal, I'd be a little bit different about my hand, but... Just a pass. Interesting. All right. Blast Zone. Ponder. Ponder's interesting because they've kept a fetch there. Makes me think they have a land in hand, because usually with a Ponder you want to fetch first so you don't have to shuffle away good cards if you do keep your 3. That's going to be it. Maybe they're... I mean, if they're trying to find protection for Sprite, I should definitely swords in response to the Ponder. Pyro it? Yeah, that's actually true. I didn't even think about Pyroblast. Yeah, Sword Splash also hitting Arcanist is pretty huge. And also Lurrus, let's be honest. I'm gonna fetch in response to this one. Just get a Plateau. That's fine. Now we have double swords readily available, which is really nice. Swords. Blast Zone. Hierarch. I'm probably happy here actually just attacking, and I should have actually attacked with the Dryad Arbor here. I was just thinking that I wanted to hold open swords during their turn, but I probably don't really care about it, so I'm gonna not get in for 3 here and just for 2, which is incorrect. Which is rough. And that's just me rushing again. Like, I should just be taking time, thinking about my options, thinking about what my opponent could be casting next turn. Green Suns for Hex is pretty cool as well. I might wait for my opponent to tap out, because I don't want to Green Suns for Hex, put 2 mana into it, and then they just have Bolt or Fatal Push for it when I try to put it to 3. So I guess I'm a little bit more conservative, but I would love to see if they tap out this turn coming, and then we can have something. We can have Hex Drinker around. Reanimate. Okay, that's kind of cool. Ponder's fine. Wasteland Blast Zone is interesting. Tundra. Nice. Yeah, companions not being hit by hand disruption is pretty good. Lurrus is fine. Pedal, okay. Gonna go to 8. Oko, interesting. Force, okay, that's fine. They have no cards in hand. Oof, now I have to trade with this. I definitely have to trade with this. Because if I Oko it, it keeps the counters. Yeah, I have to Justice the Sprite. Probably should have kept the Dryad Arbor up and not the Noble Hierarch. I'd probably rather have the Noble Hierarch next turn instead of the Dryad Arbor, which I kind of have to block here with. Elk the Flyer. This becomes a 4/4. Yeah, I guess they can make it actually bigger, so... No great attacks then, unfortunately. Oh, the dragon's pretty good. This is definitely where I want all my blasts in. I only have 3. Yeah, they also have Delvers and Baleful Strixes, and I probably want to hit some number of counter magic, so I don't have the luxury of Brainstorm and Ponder to find them either. Attacking us with everything. Well, I guess we have to block. Pretty dead, because I can still get back the Sprite. Maybe I should have hit the Lurrus, but then we just die anyway in the air, so... Oh, I can cast my 5/5. But then we just die in the air anyway, because I have to gain life. Swap Dryad for Lurrus is probably the correct play there, yeah. Didn't even see that, and I definitely should have. I probably want to just 3/3 the Sprite here. Lurrus doesn't have, yeah, I don't think I do either. Maybe I do just save on time. Yeah. Justice, Blast. Green Suns. Yeah, I might just go down on 1 Oko. I think that's okay. I just want more removal. I don't like second Sylvan because I can't really use it. They're just so aggressive that I think drawing into my second Sylvan would be a pretty big disaster. This is fine. Sylvan's really nice turn 2. But But with so many like haste creatures and, you know, bolt effects, it's hard to keep up. I'm not playing Scryb Ranger here because I want to see them maybe Wasteland me and then we can save it. Underground Sea. Arcanist is pretty good. I want to take them off red mana as much as possible. Even though the bolt's in the bin, I don't want to lose too many of my creatures. And I still want to get this knight down as a 4/4. Thoughtseize is pretty good. I'm more scared of red. What did the ponder do? Chose not to shuffle. I want to draw because if I draw into swords, then it's a huge payoff. But if I draw into a knight, it's pretty rough because if they Thoughtseize us again, it's pretty bad. But I think drawing into swords there is pretty good. So I don't just want to wait on the canopy. Yeah, I think I'm way off my 5 mana companion. It's not really in my thought process right now. I'd rather just play what's in hand to play around this Thoughtseize as much as possible. Reanimate Knight. It's pretty good. Rough. Yeah, I can't come back from that. Especially the reanimate and the Thoughtseize coming. Just too good. I'm just going to go bathroom. I'll be back in a second. Yeah, I'm sure there was. I'm sure just taking my time a little bit better as well. With that that game 3 would have, or game 2 would have definitely helped, but just gotta learn from my mistakes. Move on. Yeah, I think it's pretty obvious not having removal for Dreadhorde is pretty rough for any deck. But at least we can try to finish on a high. Maybe we can go 4-1. 4-1 would be pretty sweet. I'd be happy with a 4-1. But it's nice to be playing Punishing Maverick. I haven't played too much Punishing Maverick, so it's nice to have the blast effects in the board. Also, this Punishing Fire is quite nice. Obviously, it doesn't line up very well against Dreadhorde Arcanist, which is in a fair bit of the meta right now. But I think otherwise, you know, Punishing Fire can be really nice. Haven't really missed Thalia too much tonight. Thalia is okay with all the bauble effects going around, but we are going to be on the play, which is nice. Pretty happy to keep this. Turn 1 Mum. We have an Oko coming. We have a 4/4 Knight coming, so... Yeah, I guess Karakas is a nice answer to Thalia, but we are a Wasteland deck, so it's not like they can use it over multiple turns. We usually have an answer pretty quickly for it, which is nice. But I guess even like today we've seen a pretty big amount of Thalia so far. Chrome Mox, interesting. Blood Moon. Okay, this could just be Stompy. Alright. At least we do have our companion. We can also draw into the one basic we have. Blast Zone. Khan's pretty good. Probably getting liquid metal. Yeah, I guess we can draw Punishing Fire. That'd be pretty sweet. Classic. I probably want to actually make them cast the liquid metal coating as well. So I'm probably happy just attacking Khan. I mean, you say it and it happens. I guess, yeah, if they tick up, then it's incorrect. So we'll just go for Punishing Fire here. Dryad. Interesting. Dryad seems okay here. Now I really want to Jeg next turn, because then that plays Under the Blood Moon as well really nicely. Are we going to get to cast it? I think we are. Alright. That's pretty nice, because now we have access to all our colors, which is pretty sweet. Liquid metal coating this. That's probably okay. Is there any reason to... I guess we can't stop it, so... Maybe they want to try to abrade it? No, okay. Jeg's gonna do a whole lot of work here. And birds, okay. So we get a tap for all colors. Oko's probably the best. Elk the Chrome Mox is interesting. Yeah. Guess I could have attacked for one first, but that's fine. Two red. Probably a braid. Stomp. Okay. I'm probably actually happy just for a block with Dryad Arbor, not even protecting. But they're not even going to attack. Interesting. Foothills. Yeah, I also like bird. I could attack with a 5/5, but I want to start building up my board. A lot of time, so... go with Knight. Mana. Fiery Confluence would be interesting as well. This is going to be fine. Another Oko. Interesting. I guess we can trade the Rebel Master over, which is kind of nice. Probably don't care about the Rebel Master, to be fair. Definitely play a land. And probably just start attacking. Yeah. I don't mind this. Interesting. They had access to using the Dryad Arbor as land number 4, but obviously they have a different thought process. Yeah, this is definitely a board state. It's interesting that my opponent is still playing on because obviously they feel like they have an out to it. Now the Rebel's okay. Wasteland. Elk this. Move to combat. Fiend Artisan. I haven't tried it yet, but I think Fiend Artisan would be a cool card to play around with. At least as like a one-of, as just a really grindy card. Especially because it can make use of some of your mana dorks late in the game, or even in the mid-game where you don't really need it. Okay. Oh, you recently saw it? Very cool. Okay. Well, I'm very glad to see people are already playing around with it. Boarding is going to be interesting. I definitely like the knight. That's kind of all I like. Meddling Mage is interesting, but I don't think where we want to be. I think it's just going to be a slight change. I guess Ouphe is okay. I actually don't mind second Ouphe. Can probably go down on Skoos. And maybe just one. No, Oko is still pretty good. Punishing Fire is still amazing, of course. Strauss, how would you board? What would you take out? Do you think they have Rabble? I think one of their ways of winning is getting an early Rabble down and then just hoping it swings in for enough. Maybe Mum. Yeah, Mum's interesting. Maybe it's something like second Library. Library is pretty good. Maybe I do just want to see Library as often as possible, and I'm going to do that by having 2 on the deck. Klothys might be overkill. Yeah, I think it might be Klothys. I want to kind of move away from somebody 3-drops in the deck as well if I'm bringing in Knight. So I don't mind this. 2-drop for 2-drop, 3-drop for 3-drop. That seems okay. Fiery Justice is interesting. If we have the basic in the hand, I would be very happy. We don't. Huh. Probably not the biggest fan of this hand. I really want to have a fetch land. But otherwise, it's not the worst. We have a nice answer for some sort of Rabble Master start. Oko is great against some of their fast mana. Green Suns is flexible. But yeah, I think a Mull is sadly our only option. I don't mind this. I think I'll keep this in bottom, probably one of the fetch lands. Maybe Jeg makes them think that maybe Blood Moon isn't the best. Blood Moon. Okay. Well. Charleston one. Pretty good. We have some time. We have some time. This is fine. Okay. That's pretty good for us. There's Night of Autumn. There's a 3rd mana, which is pretty big. Trinisphere is fine. Don't really care about that. We're already at 3 mana. Oh! Huh. I don't think it's worth playing this. I think I'd rather just go take a pass. Especially if we're just going for Jeg. Chandra is okay. It only deals 4, right? Hex Drinker. Oh, Hex Drink is interesting, but I think it's going to be Jeg here. So I do need to deal with the Chalice. But then we're not looking too bad. Maybe they have like a Braid and something for this. Whew. A Braid and Chandra? Yeah, it looks like it as well if they're trying to deal with it. Which is pretty rough because I think now we just have Green Suns as our only out because of Chalice on 1. Fiery Confluence, okay. So Green Suns or bust. Grove. Pretty good. Sadly, in all honesty, we just had 5 turns of nothing, which is pretty rough. Moon doing things? Yeah, Moon was pretty good. We did draw the basic, but this deck only has the 1 basic, so we can't do any of this. And of course, with the Chalice out, it's pretty rough as well. But yeah, we just had to try to dodge Chandra and another removal spell, but opponent saw the line. This is pretty rough. I believe we just die, sadly, to the Chandra effects, but we can at least see more from our opponent, hopefully. Because this is all pretty much game 1 stuff. Maybe the second Chandra isn't. It probably is, but we can try to see some sort of sideboard hate. I think we just run back the same list, to be fair. I don't think there's anything I would change. Yeah, Justice is interesting because they also run the Planeswalkers. But it's just so hard to mana as well. I think I'm just going to run back the same list. and hope to get like a start with like a basic and a mana dork. That would be really nice. Whew. Is there still a Trinisphere bug? Matsol, do you know? Because I know for a while there was a Trinisphere bug that if you're going for green suns equals 3, if you go green suns for 2, you have to put an extra 3 into it, correct? So you have to kind of green suns for 5 if you want to find a 2-drop 3 green suns under a Blood Moon? Oh, under a Trinisphere? I still think this is okay. But it's rough. I think this is a keep as well. The Grove allows us to go turn 1 Hierarch. The Knight's pretty prone here though. But at least we have another Green Suns as well. Maybe, just maybe. Like, Mountain Pass is probably the turn 1 start that I want from my opponent, but it's probably not the start that I'm gonna get, unfortunately. Noble also quite nice with Trinisphere. Magus is fine. So now I probably just go for a Birds of Paradise. Just to change things up. It also makes red and blue mana. If they have like a Braid, it's pretty tough. Shells for 1 is fine. Can just cast Jegantha next turn, right? Yeah. Jegantha is really good in this matchup. The 5 mana dog. Rabble, okay. I do need to find a removal. Another Foothills isn't great. I can't use generic mana, that's right. Confluence is pretty good. Interesting line though. Not even trying to attack first. Drop. Khan's okay. I have one card left. Probably going to be Bridge for next turn, unless they have like Simian Spirit Guide as well. What's our best draw? I think our best draw is probably Punishing Fire, because we already have Grove as well. Knight of Autumn is also nice. I mean, Green Sun Zenith is also nice. There's a few really good draws. Mycosynth's Lattice, interesting. Does that mean they have another creature? I don't really want to draw my basics, so I'm going to fetch first. Wasteland. Wasteland's actually pretty nice. Trinisphere is fine. Probably don't mind just getting Dryad Arbor here. Ooh, Punishing Fire does it. Oh, nearly. The Tomb is kind of turned off because of the Punishing Fire, but we can't actually cast it without the Grove. Unless we untap. Attack for 6, put them to 4. And now if they use the Ancient Tomb, we can then untap and actually use Jegantha for the mana. Whew. Nice. Well, we went 4-1, which isn't too bad. Pretty happy with a 4-1. I think there's definitely some mistakes there that hopefully I outlined after I did it. But Mark, thank you. Thank you very much for the list as well. Pretty nice. Yeah, I think this card is pretty sweet to play with. Obviously against Moon, it's pretty nice to have it, which is really nice. I'm assuming I'm not sure if we can fit in a second basic. Maybe we could, but of course the mana is quite restrictive. You could maybe get away with the planes, but it would of course be a little bit tough. You'd have to know really how you're fetching and stuff to go. How was the blue? I think just for Oko, the blue is fine. Meddling Mage was interesting. One card that I've always wanted to try out in blue Maverick or Maverick with a blue splash is Lavinia. The one that players can't, or your opponents can't cast cards for free or they get countered, and they can't cast cards with CMC more than the amount of lands they have, which is pretty sweet, especially in a deck with Wasteland. But the blue was cool. I don't think there was really any matches where we desperately needed it. Maybe you could just play a punishing version, but I think with Jegantha, Jegantha. There we go. We got there. It's yeah. I think Oko's fine. Oko's pretty fun to play with, so I won't do anything to change there. Yeah. again, a huge thank you to Mark. He played this on the Legacy Pit, who we will actually raid after this stream. If you do want to find any of my videos or recordings, you can find them at YouTube/Dukes on Twitch. If you want to find me on Twitter, you can find me at Twitter/Dukes on Twitch. You can find me at the Green Sun Zenith. I hopefully have an article coming out tonight, just a Maverick monthly for April to kind of run down what's been happening since companions have been out and which lists have been doing well. Obviously that all changes most likely on Monday, but we'll see what happens, because yes, companions are such a wrong mechanic. That is very true. But that is it. A huge thank you to you guys for coming in. Let's quickly get the Legacy Pit up, because these guys do a lot of really good work, so I'm very happy to raid them. If you're a fan of Paper Magic, you should definitely check out the Legacy Pit as well. Where are they? There they are. All right. A huge thank you again, Mark. Really cool to have you in there as well. Thank you very much. A huge fan of you and what you do for the Maverick community. I hope you all have a great week ahead. We will see you next Wednesday night. Companions will hopefully be gone, or at least Lurrus. So I'll probably be back on Maverick. Probably a black version, but I actually want to try out a green-white version with the new 3/4 flyer, that when a creature dies, you get it back with flying. I don't think it's good enough, but I want to test it first. I want to test it and see how it goes. So that should be pretty fun. A huge thank you to you guys once again, all of you in chat. Love and appreciate you very much. Mothra. There we go, Rain. Thank you. We will see you next time. Cheers.